What is poppin', guys? We are back on Pokemon Showdown on the team builder for episode 5 of Pimp My Squad. And for those that are new to this series, it's pretty much where you guys can submit me one of your teams in a pastebin.com format that you're having trouble with, preferably telling me what you're struggling against and what specific Pokemon you would like me to keep on the team for sure. And I will choose 10 teams to feature in an episode and pimp them into some Lord Squads that you'll have fun with on the ladder. Meaning your teams might be similar to what they were before, or they could be vastly different depending on what I want them to look like or what kind of roadmap you gave me. Regardless, they'll be very solid teams for you to use. Really happy that you guys are enjoying this series. By the way, in the last episode, we literally got like over 200 pastebins, which is amazing. I really wanted to actually like do all of them in one episode, but I can't, unfortunately. So don't feel bad if I have not chosen your team yet. You know, feel free to transfer over that comment from the last episode of this one, since I'm only taking teams from the comments of this specific episode. Or, you know, you can always submit me something different if you want. I mean, you always have a higher chance of making it on the next episode if I have not picked your squad last episode. On the brighter side, though, you know, by the end of this video, if you just jump straight into the description, you'll have 10 fresh Lord Squads that are ready for you to use. Another thing I want to mention is that I did get a few people wondering if I test the final result of the team once I edit them on screen. And the answer is yes. What you see on the screen is just my thought process, but I already know what changes I'm making to the teams beforehand, and I have tested the final product of the team numerous times in the upper ladder, like 1700s, 1800s, and they've done really well. On a couple test accounts that I have. Definitely I would not be giving you teams that I didn't feel strongly about, and I'm just here to impress. You know, I'm here to gift you all these creations, and you know, I'll be changing a lot of stuff. I'll be pimping them, I should say. But you know, without further ado, let us just go ahead and hop into the first team. Format, of course, is going to be 9 OU teams and 1 lower tier team, which this time is going to be UU once again due to popular demand. But here we go. On to team number 1. Let's get it. Alright, so our first team here is from Sean O'Flynn. We got here a Mega Gallade team. Pretty cool. So SD Mega Gallade. We also have here a SD Bisharp. We also have here Stealthrox, Orlando T, Raikou, which is an Assault Vest set. Oh, by the way, good job with the Rocky Helmet there. Very nice. We also have here a Klefki for some spikes and a Lottie for defogging. Actually, wait. There's no defog here because there's no defog. I guess because Stealth Rocks and Spikes, but still having a defogger would be nice, just because hazards could be a pain. If your opponent also has multiple layers of hazards with a spinner or something like that. Some threats that I can see definitely, well, he says he's weak to Sableye. I can see that a little bit because Klefki can't really do much to Sableye. It's not really that hard in hitting. And I guess you're also a tad bit weak to Azu. Like I said, you might need some hazard control since you know, another spike hazard offense team can pressure yours a lot, especially if they have a spinner, like I said. And Gliscor seems threatening, as well as some other hard-hitting water Pokemon. Okay, so what I want to do, I want to keep Gallade for sure. That's your Mega. We'll definitely keep that. Let's keep Lando because it's nice for the rocks, like I said. And let's keep Klefki, I think. I like Klefki. I like the rocks, spikes, and all that kind of stuff. I like that. Now, let's make ourselves a little bit less weak to Mega Sableye first of all. Now, the Pokemon I wanted to put, so I'll just take away these for now, since I think this is a really good place to start off, and we can just cover our threats right now. So, in order to deal with Sableye, what I proposed was, because we have Gallade, right, and because I'm such a creative thinker, we could add a Gardevoir here. And not a Mega, of course. This is actually, well, it actually works in OU. Regular Gardevoir surprisingly works really well in OU on this specific team. So I added here a Choice Scarf Gardevoir, which does possess Trace in order to, you know, you can switch it on Flash Fire, you can Trace Swift Swim and stuff like that. Really, really useful ability for this thing, and it's very underrated. So Psyshock here, Thunderbolt is another coverage option that I opted for. I mean, you could run probably like Focus Blast, HP Fire, or something like that. I just ran T-Bolt because I thought it was pretty unique, and Destiny Bond here, which is nice in order to, I guess, if there's something that you have to kill or something that's really threatening, you can just Destiny Bond, try to knock it out. Use it as like a last resort or something. The EV spread, pretty simple. I just gave you enough speed to outrun Mega Lopunny. Timid nature, of course, and that is pretty much the set right here. Now, I also wanted something for Azu, so I opted for giving you some hazard control without having defog, of course, because of the fact that you have rocks and spikes. Defogging, I mean, in many scenarios it's kind of counterintuitive, I guess, since you're running both rocks and spikes, and then defogging would just get rid of your own. I figured I'd just run here a Tentacruel, which also helps versus Azu, which is really nice, since it's able to outrun, and it does have Sludge Bomb, which is nice, resists water and fairy, so we can just go ahead here and add ourselves a Tentacruel, pretty much with, let's see, Black Sludge. Pretty standard set, I guess. I mean, I'm just going to be running Scald, going to be running, oh, let me change the ability to Liquid Ooze, pretty useful ability for Leech Seeders and stuff like that, Sludge Bomb, and Acid Spray. I wanted to run, instead of like T-Spikes or something like that, I wanted to run Sludge Bomb plus Acid Spray. Sludge Bomb hits just harder in general, can poison stuff as well, and Acid Spray just reduces Spadef and allows Pokemon like Combine Clefable not to be able to set up on you, since you have this move which cuts its Spadef by a good amount. Now I'm just going to add some EVs here, so pretty standard EV spread, just adding some Spadef and speed here. 16 plus Timid Nature allows us to outrun Jolly Breloom, which is really nice, as well as, I guess, Jolly Bisharp if we want to try to Scald Burn it or something in a last scenario sort of thing. But anyways, we got here a Tentacruel, which is a nice spinner, Gardevoir here, which will help us deal with Mega Sableye, as well as just a good Choice Scarf user to revenge kill or take Pokemon by surprise that don't really understand Choice Scarf Gardevoir. And finally, we're just going to go ahead here and add something in order to deal with, or just check Pokemon in general, a good threat, and it'll help us deal with Gliscor pretty nicely. So I'm just going to go ahead here and add a Kyurem, Kyurem Black. And I figured that'd be really cool for your team, since we can just run it with Life Orb. We can run just a standard Life Orb Kyurem set here: Fusion Bolt, Earth Power, and Roost. Pretty standard EVs as well. Max out that's attack, 236, and Timid Nature. Oh, it's not timid, mild nature. And that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it for this team. It looks really good, and I have, of course, been testing it out. I could probably say it's one of the more favorite ones for this episode, but you'll see the other ones that I got here. Maybe you can decide which one's your favorite. Talking to everybody, of course, but we'll see about the other teams right now. This team is looking really nice. I'm really enjoying it a lot. The nice offensive sort of the offensive sort of pressure this team has. I don't know how I feel about Shadow Sneak, to be honest, on this Gardevoir, just because of the fact that it doesn't put in much work versus stuff like Slowbro. Shadow Sneak is nice for priority, but I found out that Knockoff is just a much better option on Mega Gallade in general, because it hits harder. It takes Pokemon on the switch in as well, where Shadow Sneak you'll have to like set up in order for it to do, I guess, more damage than it would previously, and that's why I wanted to run Knockoff there, because it's just better overall, especially versus stuff like Mew, which after you SD, Knockoff will just be doing a lot more damage to those kinds of Pokemon. Plus, you're fast anyways. I mean, I guess Shadow Sneak would be nice if against Pokemon that are faster, or if you don't want to speed tie versus Lottie. But Knockoff is just a much superior option, a much more superior option in general. And for your Lando, I think you should be running a little bit slower here in order to outslow other Landos with U-turn. And we'll just dump the rest in defense here. And let's see if I didn't miss anything. I don't think I missed anything. I'll always, make sure the pastebin's working well. So once again, if I did miss something on one of these teams, you can let me know, or just make sure that the pastebin has the right stuff, which it will probably have. So that's going to be it for this team, and let's just go ahead here and hop into team number 2. Here we go. Actually, before that, I wanted to make another suggestion here for this team, that I wanted to actually, instead of having U-turn, I completely forgot that I wanted to change this Lando set here. This Lando set that I'm going to be giving you right now will be able to easily beat other Lando sets. So this team right now, it's looking like it's a little bit Lando weak because of the fact that you only have, I guess, a Kyurem to deal with it. So what I got here for you right now is a Lando set that will make you much less weak to Lando. So what I got here, so I'm just going to give this enough speed, so 80 speed, I think. No, 88. 88. Hits 240, Impish Nature, so you'll be able to outrun Adamant Bisharp, Adamant Breloom, and stuff like that if they do run that. And now, check this out here, right? Hidden Power Ice. Even with a minus attack nature, it doesn't matter because HP Ice will 2-hit KO Lando, Chomp, and stuff like that, which is really useful. And that's what I got now. That was just the last thing I had to add in, and now the team is looking really nice. So yeah, let's just go ahead here, hop into team number 2. All right, so team number 2 we got here from Loris Master. We got here Lopunny, nice Mega Lopunny, Staraptor, which is pretty cool. Nice Choice Banded Staraptor, normal spam core, Garchomp for some rocks, SD Bisharp, Lottie for defogging, and Talonflame. So I guess also Talonflame. So like he got that nice normal spam / flying spam, which is pretty cool. So he's already listed out some of the threats that he has that he's having trouble with. He says he's having trouble versus Sandrush Drill, Alakazam, Diancie, Azumarill, Weavile. Minor threats being Hippo, Skarmory, and Tank Chomp. So I think the first thing we should do, well, we're definitely going to be keeping Lopunny plus Staraptor. He wants to keep that core for sure. So we're going to definitely do that. No worries there. I think the first thing we should do is replace Tank Chomp for defensive Lando T, which is really good versus Sandrill. Will help you out a lot in that sense. And I guess in that way it's going to be really nice in order to deal with Sand Excadrill. So we can just add here a Rocky Helmet, of course, since you know I'm all about that Rocky Helmet. I'm just gonna go ahead here and use the set that I was gonna use last time for the last team, except I changed it last minute because I completely forgot that's what I planned. So 16 Spadef for speed with an Impish Nature, and we're just gonna be running Earthquake. I think in order to deal with Skarm this time, we can use this set to deal with Sandrill, and we can also deal with Skarm by running. Oh, you know what we can do? We can run a Smackdown Lando, defensive Lando, so that we can still use it to deal with Skarmory much better. So it'll be less of a threat to you. Stealth Rocks here, and there we go. So that should be really good in dealing with, I guess, your minor threat Skarmory as well as your major threat Sandrush Excadrill. So there we go. That is the Lando here. I also want to, okay, so I want to keep Lottie as well. Lottie's a great defogger for this team. I kind of just want to change up your moves a little bit, since I feel like Healing Wish is just going to be really useful in general. Healing Wish can really help your team out, revive either Staraptor, Lopunny, or something like that, one of your win conditions that you need to keep healthy. In that way, you can play a little bit more reckless with your team, try to get as many kills as you want. Doesn't matter how much damage you take because you have this backup Lottie. I also want to give you another backup Healing Wish user because this team is really offensive and it centralizes around Lopunny and Staraptor just killing stuff. So I just want to give you here a Healing Wish Jirachi. Also helps you take Mega Gardevoir and stuff like that much better. As well as Alakazam, Weavile can check, Diancie can check pretty nicely. And in that sense, it's really good. So we're just going to go ahead here with a Choice Scarf. A Choice Scarf Jirachi here with Iron Head, Heart Stamp, which is really good. Really cool move that a lot of Jirachis are running nowadays. U-Turn and Healing Wish. Oops, not Uproar. That's an Uproar. Alright. Just go with the U-Turn here and Healing Wish. Healing Wish. There we go. Where did you go? Alright. Let's add that. And then just max attack, max speed, and 4 defense with a Jolly Nature. So that's going to be that. Nice double Healing Wish core right there. Lottie plus Jirachi. Some good rocks. Staraptor, Lopunny to punch holes with. And I believe that for Lopunny, I don't know if I want to run. I don't know if I want you to run Ice Punch here. I mean, Ice Punch is nice to hit stuff like Gliscor and Lando and stuff like that. Though I feel for this specific team, if you want to break stuff easier, I think you should run Power Up Punch, since that will also do really well versus a lot of different teams. You can Power Up Punch on something like a weakened, I don't know, maybe like a switcher like a Powdon even, and then try to do more damage with High Jump Kick in return. I mean, it's just good in general just to get up your attack, and it's a lot more threatening than an Ice Punch set, for sure. And for your last Pokemon, I think I just want to patch up the Weavile sort of weakness going on here. So I'm just going to add you. I'm going to replace Talonflame here. I don't think we really need it for the team too much, so I'm just going to replace it with an Azumarill, which can really put in a lot of work. I feel that we can just run an Assault Vest set. That should be putting in some decent work for this team. with huge power, of course, and Play Rough, Waterfall, Knockoff is good, or Aqua Jet, of course, and Knockoff. So this should be doing really well for your team, helping you out a lot. And yeah, like I said, I've been testing all these teams, so they've been doing well. And 16 Spadef with Adamant Nature, and that is going to be the team. So let me just double check if I missed anything. I don't think I did. I actually was testing out a lot with Staraptor, Choice Band, or Choice Scarf. I was a little bit hesitant on each one, but I stuck with Choice Band just because it's really powerful. It hits stuff a lot harder, whereas Choice Scarf can just revenge kill a lot of stuff. Pretty sure it Okos Charizard Y and stuff like that, which is pretty nice. So I mean, you can experiment, see how it goes. I think this team is really nice, so I hope you enjoyed it as well. And yeah, that's all I got for this one. Let me know if I missed anything, and I will fix it. And on to the next one, team number 3. Alright, team number 3 here, we got from Mattia, we got here Mega Aggron, which is a very cool Pokemon. I haven't seen that lately. I've been actually meaning to use it, but very cool indeed to see this on the team. Mega Aggron for some rocks, Clefable, which is a Unaware Wish Protect set, okay. Lottie for defogging, Rotom Wash, Conkeldurr, which is cool, and Tornadus Therian. Okay, very cool team. We have some threats for sure. Definitely Charizard X is a huge threat to this team, as you can see here. Charizard X just literally, it puts in a lot of work versus this team. Magnezone can also be a threat as well, since your Volt Switch resistance is only Lottie, and yeah, Magnezone can definitely put in work with the momentum it has. Offensive Scizors are actually also a threat as well, since your only thing is Rotom Wash, and Life Orb Scizor can be a little bit threatening if you don't play your cards right. Lucario can also be a threat, maybe also Diggersby. Less common, of course, but still out there. I definitely recommend, or you said keep Aggron, so we're definitely going to keep that. So we'll be changing this team a little bit, quite an amount. I want to firstly add here an Azu over Clef. And the reason I'm running Azu over Clef is because Azu just helps you a lot more versus Charizard, which is a pretty big threat, like I said. It puts in a lot more work, so I'm just going to be running with Play Rough, Waterfall, Aqua Jet, and Superpower. So we're going to be running a Choice Bandit set this time, just some nice power in general to deal with a lot of these different types of threats. Huge power, Choice Band, and yeah, we'll just run an Azu with a good amount of speed as well, in order to outrun other Bandit Azus, Adamant Nature. So we got that first of all, which I do want to keep for this team. Now, I think what I want to do is, instead of Rotom, I want to actually just add a Pokemon that can actually deal with Magnezone a lot better, and that's going to be Gastrodon. Gastrodon here will be able to deal with, well, it can switch into pretty much any of Magnezone's attack unless they run HP Grass, which many times they do not, and I don't really know any Magnezones to run HP Grass, to be honest, but I think this is going to be good. We'll give it a Rocky Helmet, because why not? Has Recover and everything, so it'll be fine. Storm Drain, Scald, Earthquake, Toxic, and a Recover. It's going to be really nice, and we can run this full physical pretty much, which is Gastrodon's I guess best set for this type of move, moveset. Gonna run a Relaxed Nature, of course, because we're running both Scald and Earthquake, which is nice, you know, because we can hit on the special side, we can hit on the physical side, and Toxic, of course, can wear down stuff that we need to wear down, of course. Now, I want to actually add a Pokemon that can pretty much deal with offensive Scizors, and that is basically swapping Torn for Zapdos. And the reason I like Zapdos so much on this team is because it's a really good defensive wall. It can deal with Pinsir really nicely. It can deal with Scizor. It can check Lucario pretty well. I mean, it can deal with Lucario pretty nicely because it does resist the Fighting Steel Stab, which is really good. Gonna go with a defensive set. I could have run Rocky Helmet on this Zapdos too, but I figured having it on Gastrodon would be pretty fun. And I've noticed that Leftovers Recovery is just so much nicer on Zapdos because we'll be switching it in on a lot of different types of things. Just go with Thunderbolt, Heat Wave here. No need for Volt Switch because we just want to kill stuff pretty much that we bring this in on, and Defog. Roost, I'll just put Defog here. Not Defend Order. although I'm pretty sure it can defend itself, and a Roost. And we'll just run a nice bulky defensive EV spread here, 176, a little bit of offense, 68 and 16 speed in order to outrun Adamant, Bisharp, and Breloom. Anything along those sort of speed tier lines, and we're just going to run Bold Nature, and there is a Zapdos there. Now, because we have a Zapdos with Defog, we don't really need Lati. I'm going to keep the exact same type synergy that's going on here. So Lati, we're just going to change into Cresselia. Nice, powerful bulky threat here in order to cripple stuff. It can help us versus a lot of different threats in the tier, like Kyurem Black. I can also check Diggersby pretty well. Sort of, I guess. But it's definitely really good for this team, as I have been testing this team out a lot, and it's been winning me games on the really high ladder. So, really nice Pokemon in general. We're going to run Psychic, Ice Beam, Thunder Wave, and Moonlight. Just cripple a lot of different offensive threats in the tier, and we can just run this with perhaps, yeah, a little bit more Spadef bulky. I mean, this is definitely a really bulky Pokemon, but it can put in so much work and help us out a lot on the team. Calm Nature there, so we got that. And finally, I just want another thing to deal with, I guess. Something that has some nice priority for this team. And we have Azu, of course, which is offensive. I just want to go ahead here and add a Pokemon for Superiors, because Superior is just a pretty big threat in general. Zapdos can't really deal with it too well. And I just want to go ahead here and add a Talonflame. Talonflame's looking really nice here on this team. And we can just run this like a nice bulk upset or something with Acro. No item Acrobatics, Will-O-Wisp, Bulk Up, and Roost, which is pretty fun. And yeah, we can just run this thing with 248, Max Spadef, and 8 speed with Careful. And that is pretty much it for this team. I changed a lot of stuff, but I had definitely a good amount of reasons in order to do that. We're not weak to any of those stuff that I mentioned anymore, and I don't really see a lot of open holes to this team. I don't see a lot of threats that we have left, but definitely this team has been working out a lot for me. I've been having a lot of fun with this team. It looks really unique. It's like a really kind of unique sort of balanced-ish sort of team. Maybe a little bit more on the semi-stall side, but it does have some hard hitters, some setup sweepers, and I mean, it has rocks, defog, and stuff like that, and toxic to wear down stuff. So very fun team in general. Let me know what you think about this, and you know, hopefully it'll work out for you as well as it has worked out for me. So that is going to be this team. Let's go ahead here and hop on to team number. No, actually, one more thing I want to change. I wanted to put Fire Punch here instead of Earthquake, just because of the fact that Fire Punch is just better in general for this thing. We have Gastrodon that can Earthquake stuff, like Heatran. We're not really more sort of Heatran weak. I guess Earthquake would be for those kinds of Pokemon that wall it like Heatran. Looking at this team, we're not that Heatran weak. We have here an Azu, we have here a Gastrodon, not really a threat. So I just ran Fire Punch here because we only have fire coverage on this Zapdos here, which, I mean, once just another backup sort of move here in order to hit stuff like Ferrothorn and Scizor and stuff like that, and set up rock, so they don't try to set up on us or Leech Seed or whatever they do best. But that's going to be this team. I don't think there's anything left. If I didn't miss anything, I'll fix it in the paste bin, and I'll let you guys know. So without further ado, like I said, let's move on to team number, what are we on, 4? Yeah, team number 4. Alright, here we go. Alright, so we got team number 4 from Gotta Be the Yams. We have here a Victini, nice special attacking Victini, very cool lure. I've been wanting to use this in a live, I guess, since people have been asking me. So this is, I guess, a way in order for me to show you guys a team with it. Garchomp, which is his Stealth Rocker, Rotom Wash, defensive set pretty standard. Tangrowth for tanking, I guess, water hits better than Rotom Wash can. Metagross here, which is his Mega Pokemon, and Scizor for defogging. Alright, cool team. Very cool team. We're definitely going to keep Victini, which is what he requested me to keep, so that's not going to go anywhere. I'm not going to change any moveset like that or anything on this one, so we're going to keep that the same. Going to keep Garchomp as well, just going to change the EV spread a little bit, make this thing a little faster in order to outrun Life Orb Hoopa, which is what I like to do on my Garchomps nowadays, because Life Orb Hoopa can be a threat to pretty much any team, I guess, that don't carry Mandibuzz. I'm just going to go ahead here and run a little bit more speed, so this is good enough speed in order to outrun Hoopa and stuff like that. And it still has some good bulk, some good defense, and yeah, we're just going to keep the rest of the moveset the same. I feel is going to be good for this. I think what we're going to do now is, well, the threats that are there to this team are definitely Garchomp is a huge threat to this team. Life Orb, or I guess offensive Garchomps in general. Sableye is a really big threat to this team. I don't really see a way of this team dealing with Sableye. Medicham, Mega Manectric, and I guess Charizard X is a really big threat. Chomp can sort of, well, Chomp can't really check it too well. It can switch it on a Flare Blitz and give it a lot of recoil, but it'll just die to a Dragon Claw after Dragon Dance. So we're gonna have to deal with those threats. We can definitely put in, we can definitely manage once I edit this team, and that is what I'm gonna do right now. So what we're gonna do first, I want to change this Mega first of all into something that can better deal with Sableye, and I guess also maybe kind of Chomp. I don't know, like this is a really interesting set. You probably might have seen this set, but I'm going to be bringing it back into the light. So we're going to be running a Gyarados here, so a Mega Gyarados, and this set is actually, it surprisingly worked so well when I used it. It's such a really cool set that is not used very often at all. So we're going to be running Waterfall, right? But we're going to be running Dragon Dance, very common, I mean, nothing new there. Rest, and Sleep Talk. So we're running a mono attacking Mega Gyarados set, which is nice because, of course, abilities that take in water attacks and use it for like special attack or HP does not work because we have Mold Breaker. So this is a really cool spammable move that we have here. Take a look at this stat right now, right? So 248 HP, right? 64 defense, pretty nice. 176 Spadef. Look at that nice Spadef here with a careful nature. Beautiful Spadef. And we're just going to run some speed here in order, and this speed basically lets you outrun Mega Lopunny after 2 Dragon Dances, which is great since it's really useful in that sense, so we don't get high jump kicked or something like that. And they won't really expect, I guess, a bulkier set. You know how much Volt Switch does to this from Rotom Wash? Rotom Wash Volt Switch is a 4-hit KO on this. This thing is so bulky. Mega Manectric's Thunderbolt does like 55%. Around there, which is really interesting. So this is a really cool Gyarados set that not a lot of people use, and I literally 6-0'd a couple of teams with this set here after testing out the final squad. So we're gonna be running a Gyarados here. It can beat Mega Sableye pretty well because it does pack the Rest plus Sleep Talk and Dragon Dance, of course. Really good answer to Mega Sableye. Now we're just going to add here a Raikou. And the reason I want to run a Raikou here is because it's just really good. It's really good for this team since it can sort of check Mega Main, I guess, as well as being able to Calm Mind over stuff. And because it's Calm Mind, it's going to be a great win condition for the team. I'm just going to add here a Thunderbolt, HP Ice. Instead of running Volt Switch like a lot of these Calm Mind sets do, I'm going to be running just Sub plus Calm Mind. Sub plus Calm Mind just works really good. Really well for this team. 4 defense. Oops, not attack. And max. I mean, I'll make sure I edit the EVs in for the teams, like making the attack 0 for the special attackers and stuff like that. I know like a lot of people don't do that, and me included. I don't really worry about that stuff, but I mean sometimes it might come into play. So I'll just make sure that everything is fixed for the importable. And you know, we got here a nice Raikou that can deal with a lot of different threats in the tier. Versus, I guess versus Medicham and stuff like that. Medicham, Sableye, Manectric. We have, I guess, we can just put here a Clef. Clef can sort of check those pretty nicely. Especially if we're running like a Calm Mind set, which is pretty cool. So we're going to be running here Leftovers, Magic Guard, Moonblast, Flamethrower, Soft Boiled, Calm Mind. As CTC would say, right? Why outplay my opponent when I can send out Clef and click Calm Mind? You feel? So we're just going to be running a standard set here. And this is just going to be great for the team overall. It's looking really nice. Instead of Scizor, I just want to add yourself a good ground immunity, because we replaced Tangrowth plus Rotom Wash. I mean, Rotom Wash, of course, can't really be immune to Excadrill that have Mold Breaker. So I'm just going to be running a Skarmory here, which is, I guess, a good defogger, good option here for this team with Rocky Helmet, Sturdy, with the Iron Head, Defog, Roost, and Whirlwind. And I think we're just going to run a Spadef set for this thing. Pretty good in order to switch into Hyper Voice and stuff like that. Check a lot of these different kinds of Pokemon, like Gallade, for instance. And, yeah, careful. So there's the team. It's looking nice. It's looking much nicer, much more solid. We got rid of a lot of our threats in general. I mean, I guess Charizard is still sort of an issue, but you can deal with it a lot better with this team. And I think instead of running Fire Blast here, we can help. I can help you deal with it better by running Endure. I think Endure is just really nice overall for this specific team, because we have here anyways Flamethrower on Clef in order to deal with Scizor plus Ferrothorn and stuff like that that try to switch in. Plus we have a Victini here, and I think that's just great. So we can just run an Endure on this thing. You can run Fire Blast if you want. I think that'll be fine, but Charizard will be put in a lot of pressure because we have Rocky Helmet on this, we have Rocky Helmet on that, and it'll take a lot of recoil enough for it to probably get knocked out soon enough. Intimidate on Garchomp here, bulky Garchomp, which can sort of deal with it, kind of, and it'll be taking recoil like I said, so yeah, no worries there. Haven't had too many problems with this team, it's been working out nicely, and especially this Gyarados set, which takes so many people by surprise, so hopefully it'll work out for you, and that is, I think, what I got for this team. Let me just double check here, and yeah, we're good. We're good. I think this team is looking nice. So let's just go ahead here, hop into team number 5, which is, of course, the UU team. And I'll show you what I got for that. So one sec, guys. Alright, so team number 5 we got here from T2 Long. We have here a Mega Sceptile team. Nice and powerful UU squad here with Mega Sceptile. Fletchinder, which is a very unique Pokemon. Gligar, which is his Defogger. Seismitoad for some rocks. Gudra for, you know, being an Assault Vest user, and Cobalion, which is an SD3 attacks. Alright, so cool team. And once again, shout out to my boy Omfuga for editing this squad. I gave it to him because, of course, he's a lot more experienced in UU than I am, and definitely giving the team to him would just make it a lot better overall, which I figured would be a good idea. So the first thing he changed was basically he put Will-O-Wisp over Flame Charge, not Fire Blast, Will-O-Wisp. And the reason he put Will-O-Wisp here was because it burned a lot of Pokemon in the tier that try to switch it on Fletchinder. For example, Aerodactyl, which is a pretty big threat in UU. And it's just, you know, for obvious reasons that Flame Charge is not doing much damage at all anyways, whereas Will-O-Wisp can just cripple stuff and gradually wear things down. Just a much better option overall. He also changed the EVs a little bit here. So he put 104 in speed, and he put 152 in HP. The reason he put 104 in speed was because he wanted you to outrun, I guess, more relevant stuff in the tier, such as Crawdaunt, because nothing else uses priority on Fletch other than Crawdaunt, which, you know, you want to be faster than that by like a little bit more so that your acrobatics can go first. So that's why he put only this much speed. That's all you really needed on Fletchinder. Now, Gligar, he kept the same, I believe. Yep. Seismitoad, he changed into Empoleon. The reason that he put Empoleon over Seismitoad was, you know, that Empoleon was just great for the tier. It gave you a nice dragon resist, and with Shucca Berry, which he put on this thing, with Shucca Berry, it can tank hits from Beedrill and from Beedrill's Bulldoze, and it can also take a Mamoswine Earthquake, which is nice. Just a good Pokemon in general for you to set up rocks with. And we can just add here a Scald, Toxic, Roar, which is a good phasing move here, and Stealth Rocks. EV spread, of course, being of course what he made. So, you know, definitely I trust Omfuga when it comes to this kind of stuff. For the UU tier, Calm Nature, and that's gonna be that. So what else do we have here? We also have a change from Gudra to Porygon 2, and the reason that he put Porygon, well, Omfuga, if you know anything about Omfuga, he loves Porygon 2. He really does love Porygon 2. So the reason he put that over Gudra was because it can check all the dragon types of the tier, most of the special attackers as well, and it adds more insurance versus Mega Aerodactyl and Mamoswine, so that your team doesn't fall to that, because you're running a Mega Sceptile team, so those kinds of Pokemon are big threats in general. So we're just going to run here, you know, just nice Tri-Attack Ice Beam, and T-Wave for, you know, crippling stuff, Yellow Magic, shout out Jambat, and Recover, with once again a Calm Nature here. 248, 104, 156. There we go. Alright, so yeah, like if I missed anything, by the way, just let me know, and I'll make sure that it's fixed in the pastebin as well, or you can make sure that it is. And finally, Cobalion, which he just kept the same pretty much. So that's what he has for there. And that's all the edits that he really had for this team. So hopefully you'll find this team a lot more useful, I guess, since it does look a lot better in general. It definitely looks really good. Looks like a really solid team. And you know, Fletchinder, of course, is a very unique Pokemon in UU, which is a nice take on Fletchinder for this tier. So very cool team. And that's going to be it for team number 5. Let us just go ahead here and hop on to team, I believe, number 6. Yeah, we're on number 6 now. Not even bad. All right, let's go. Let's do it. All right, so team number 6 we got from Daryl 10. We have here Charizard X, very powerful Mega Pokemon. Mew. We also have here, Mew is Defogger, of course. Umbreon, Wish Protect, so it's a Wish Passing set. Heatran, which is a Choice Spec set, very cool. Crocoon, his Suicune here, Combine User, and Scarf Jirachi. Alright, pretty cool. The first thing I did notice, though, when I looked at this team was there's no Stealth Rocks, and I think we definitely need some Stealth Rocks for this team. There also isn't, well, yeah, there is Hazard Control, but no Stealth Rocks. So let's add some Stealth Rocks here, first of all. Or before that, let me just list out some of the threats that he has. So, some threats that I can see, definitely Azu's a threat, Manaphy, Kingdra, Gyarados, Slowbro. They're all kind of threats for this team, since your only Pokemon that can deal with those is, I guess, or that can switch into an attack is Suicune, but it can't do much back. It can try to burn Azu, it can't really do much to sub Gyarados, and Slowbro just sets up on it. So, I feel like, Mega Slowbro for that matter. So I feel like what we can do is try to put a Pokemon that can deal with that. Also some threats, I guess Thundurus and Manectric. Well, Manectric not really much of a threat unless you have fully Mega'd your Charizard and stuff like that. Thundurus can also be kind of a threat, but I mean Charizard can sort of deal with those. I guess other opposing Charizard can be a threat because of the fact that you have a Crocoon that's the only Pokemon that can really switch in on other Charizards, and it can't really do much back if it already has set up a bunch, because you have to set up on your own as well. So in order for you to deal damage with Scald, yeah, I think we can definitely make this team really good for you. So we're just gonna keep Charizard here. Like you said, you requested me to keep Charizard, and I will definitely do that. I'm just gonna change the set a little bit, make it Adamant for more power, and give you a little bit more bulk in order to take hits from Rotom's Hydro Pump and stuff like that. So I think the set is 160, I believe, and just the rest of HP. So we got that here. I think I also want to run Dragon Claw, because Dragon Claw plus Flare Blitz is nice. I'm also going to give you a Stealth Rocker, which has Earthquake as well. So, I mean, this coverage is really good for this team. Mew, I think we're just going to run a little bit more speed in order for you to outrun Adamant Bisharp plus Adamant Breloom. Hit those with a Will-O-Wisp before they can knock off you or something like that. So we'll just give it like that. I think is fine. Rest to Spadef. So we're going to keep that the same moveset and everything. Umbreon, I like it a lot. It's a really cool Pokemon. I actually had a team with Charizard Y, Mew, and Umbreon. It was very good team back in X and Y. Had a lot of fun with it. But I'm just gonna give you a little bit more physical bulk to take those physical hits and foul play back and do some good damage. I mean, this is a good enough Spadef. It's sort of a mixed wall, I guess you could say. Heatran here, we could make it a Stealth Rocker, but I kind of want to make Rhyperior be your Stealth Rocker. Rhyperior is a very unique Pokemon in the OU tier, sorry, as you don't really see it a lot too often. And I mean, I guess that's because more superior options for Stealth Rockers like Lando T, Hippowdon, and stuff are used. But Rhyperior is just great versus Will-O-Wisp, Talonflame, especially when you have a Wish Passer with Heal Bell. Really good versus Talonflame because it's Stone Edge just so much more than I guess a Lando T or a Hippowdon would do to a bulk up, or just a Will-O-Wisp, Talonflame in general. So we're going to have Solid Rock here, and we're just going to run Earthquake, Stone Edge, Toxic, which is a very useful move on this Pokemon. I've found it so useful versus, I guess, poisoning Mega Slowbros that would otherwise have won the game, or poisoning Lando T, Garchomp, and stuff like that in Stealth Rock. So we're just going to run that. 212 HP, 44 attack, and max defense, I think. Yep, that adds up. Adamant Nature, so very bulky set, very defensive, but it has some good offense, as you can see from this attack here. Nice base 140 attack. Very cool. So we're going to run our Rhyperior for this team. I'm liking it so far. I think we're going to swap Crocoon, though, for Ferrothorn in order to help us out versus those water types, like I said, that we are having trouble against. Ferrothorn here, which, because we have Stealth Rocks, right? Here's what I'm thinking. Because we have Stealth Rocks, we could run a Chople Berry on this thing, but we're going to run Power Whip, we're going to run Gyro Ball, we're going to run Leech Seed, and instead of Stealth Rocks, which you'd probably normally see, we're going to run Curse Ferrothorn here, which I feel would be really innovative for this team. So 8 and max Spadef here. We can run a more Spadef oriented set. I ran over. 248. 248. There we go. So we're just going to run this with a careful nature here. Can afford to run more. I can afford to run this like more Spadef set because we have Curse here, which gets our attack plus defense up, and I feel that'd be really good versus those kinds of water type Pokemon, especially those special attacking water types that love to just like Manaphy, that love to Tail Glow and just spam Ice Beam and stuff like that. So this will be really useful just to help us out versus those kinds of Pokemon. And finally, the last Pokemon I wanted to add for this team that can help us out a lot versus stuff like Gengar, for instance, because Gengar is another threat to this team. I don't know if I mentioned it or not, but another Pokemon that can help us out with that is for sure going to be Tornadus Therian. More of an Assault Vest set, I guess. So Torn. And it can also help us out versus Superior as well, which is really good. So Assault Vest. Get the nice Assault Vest here with Hurricane, Super Power, Knockoff, and U-Turn. And we can just run a standard spread of 96 HP, 160, and 252. Pretty standard spread. Nothing new here. Hasty Nature. And that is going to be that. So looking like a really cool team in general. I mean, it definitely worked out a lot for me. I've been having a lot of fun. I guess Calm Mind Mega Slowbro, you might, if you want to know how to play around that, try to Toxic it. If you can't, then try to Leech Seed plus Burn it, stall it down. Umbreon can bring your Pokemon back to full health. And Hurricane can do some good damage, confuse it and stuff. So I mean, you have a lot of options to deal with that. Definitely can play around most of the threats in the tier. So a lot more solid than the previous version. Hope you enjoy it. I definitely am really liking this team a lot. It's been putting in work for me in the upper ladder, like I said. All of these teams have that I'm going to be showing you guys. So yeah, if you like this team, you know, hopefully you can put in some good work with it. So that's going to be that for team number, what were we on right now? Team number 6, right? Yeah, team number 6. So on to team number 7. Let me just make sure I did not miss anything. I do not think I did. If I did, of course, like I said, pastebin will be fixed. So let's just go ahead here and hop on to the next one. Okay, team number 7 we got here from On Full Tilt. We have here Mega Metagross, which is a really cool Mega Pokemon. We also have here Shaman, which you don't see too often, actually. Shaman is very unique in this tier. Props for using that. Garchomp here, which is his Rocky Helmet, not a Stealth Rocker. Okay. So Heatran has Stealth Rocker. So Heatran is his Stealth Rocker. Bisharp is his Assault Vest user, and Starmie for Rapid Spinning. Okay, that's really cool. Some threats I can definitely see on this team are, in fact, Thundurus, which is a really big threat. Nasty Plot Thundurus can put in a lot of work versus this team. Gyarados can as well because of the fact that, yeah, Mega Gyarados is a pretty big threat. Medicham, Gallade, and Gengar is what I can see are threats for this team. Just the ones that stand out for me in general. Now, we're going to keep Metagross. We're going to keep Shaman. I think for Shaman we can change the EV spread here. Because you're running HP Fire, you're not able to speed tie with other base 100 Pokemon. So might as well just set your speed in order to outrun, I guess, max speed Lando T that don't have Scarf on them. I don't know. I think that's really a decent speed in order to run for this thing, and just the rest of HP. Give you a little bit extra bulk there. Moveset that we can keep the same. I think we should just run Rest instead of Synthesis, because you have Natural Cure, you can just rest up and switch. Switching is of course very common with competitive Pokemon, of course. So you can just run Rest here, switch, and you're pretty much healed. Your sleep is gone. So Garchomp here we can keep, although I kind of want to make Garchomp your Stealth Rocker, and I'll explain why in a little bit. So we're just gonna run here we're gonna get rid of that. 180 speed. Like I said, I love this set a lot because it outruns Hoopa Unbound. Hits him with Earthquake. 136 defense, 192 Spadef. This is the Garchomp set for Rocky Helmet that I usually run a lot now. And yeah, we can just run this with Stealth Rocks, Endure, which is nice here, Earthquake, and Dragon Tail is pretty good. So that's a pretty good set for this. And I like that. I like this. Yeah, definitely. Now what I want to do here is actually, so we already have a Stealth Rocker for this team. We're going to keep it as Metagross, Shaman, Garchomp for now. I'm going to go ahead here and help you get rid of your Thunderous weakness, I guess. Give you a nice check. So I was thinking Raikou, right? I was thinking Raikou would be pretty cool for this team. But then I figured, you know, I'm here all about innovation, right? I'm here to bring in some interesting Pokemon, make the teams look a little bit fresh. So we're going to add here a Jolteon. Now I'm running Jolteon because of the fact that it is quite good in order to, with the choice specs of course, in order to just check a lot of these different Pokemon in the tier. It has a really good speed as well. And I actually found that Jolteon is quite good versus certain teams that are unprepared for them. And there are those that are out there on the highlighter that are unprepared for this Jolteon set here. So Signal Beam in order to hit stuff like Lottie, Hoopa Unbound and stuff like that, Celebi. And I mean, this is a really good set to run here with Timid Nature. As you can see, I mean, it has a decent SpDef here. Base 95 SpDef is really good. I mean, defense is bad, of course. HP is not that good, but special attack wise, it's great with the choice spec set. And I mean, it can take hits. It can check Manectric sort of with the Volt Absorb here. Well, I mean, it doesn't really do much back to Manectric, but I mean, choice specs T-Bolt can be doing a good amount of work to a lot of different Pokemon in the tier. Instead of Starmie here, I want to actually add something like a Defogger, I guess. Bisharp plus Starmie. Yeah, I definitely want to add here a Pokemon that can help you deal with Bisharp a lot better, and that is Conkeldurr. Conkeldurr can help with that, and Conkeldurr's really cool in this tier since there's actually a new set going around. I don't know if it's new or not, but it's been used a lot more lately, and that is the Sheer Force set. And I've always wanted to try that out, so I wanted to use it for this team. So we're going to be running a Drain Punch, Mach Punch, Ice Punch, Thunder Punch, with an EV spread of 128. Oops, not 1,320. That's crazy. All right, 252 attack, and the rest to speed here. Allows you to outrun, I guess, 4 speed, or a little bit past bulky T-Tars and stuff like that, and as well as being able to hit stuff like Skarmory for good damage. I mean, this is a really good set here. Really powerful set. A little bit extra bulk. I think it's a little bit different than the standard set, which run more speed. I'm going to be running here Adamant Nature, of course. And this Pokemon here will be able to deal with, like I said, a lot of different types of Pokemon. Because it has good coverage, it can help you out, break a different amount of bulky Pokemon like Skarmory. Can do a lot of damage to Slowbro as well. And check Bisharp. Has good priority on the team as well, which is really nice, and that's why I wanted to run that. Instead of Starmie here, I wanted to add a ground immunity to this team. So I went ahead and I added you a Togekiss here, which is great, since you know, not a really like bulky. Well, it is bulky, but not mainly a defensive set. It's more of sort of a stall breaking set. Can help you out a lot. So we're running here a Rocky Helmet, of course. Nice dual Rocky Helmet with Garchomp. I love the Rocky Helmet item. Very cool indeed. And yeah, we're just going to run here a set with Air Slash, Nasty Plot, Roost, and Defog. With, I guess, a faster EV spread than you'd expect. I've been running this on my Togekiss for a while now. I'm just going to be running with that. And Timid Nature lets you outrun Rocky Helmet, Garchomp that are bulky, sort of that run like 264. And I mean, Air Slash plus Nasty Plot can just flinch things down, do a lot of good work. And I mean, this team is looking really nice. This team is looking great. I think the one problem I had with this team was versus the other Diancys. So what I did was basically I changed your Metagross set in order to deal with it. So I just ran so we're keeping Metagross, of course. I just decided because this would be a lot more useful versus Diancie, we can just run here a Jolly Nature with 4 defense here and Bullet Punch. Bullet Punch is just great for Diancie. And then pretty much after that, my problems were solved. So that's what I'm running here. And I think also Hammer Arm is just good in general here versus like Ferrothorns and stuff, Heatran, etc., which otherwise would try to wall you, I guess. So that's gonna be that. And plus, you could use Hammer Arm when you're slower, and you can attack Skarmories as they roost, because their roost will end up being faster eventually. Your Hammer Arm will be super effective. So in that sense, it's really good. So that is going to be this team. I don't think there's anything else that needs to be fixed. I think this is just good the way it is now. So let me know what you think. You You could also try, if you want, like Poison Jab or something on here to hit fairy types. I mean, you have a Metagross to deal with that, but if you want something like some sort of secondary attack versus Clefable and Sylveon and stuff like that, feel free to change one of these moves to Poison Jab. I mean, Drain Punch, Mach Punch you should keep for sure. Ice Punch is useful. Maybe Thunder Punch is useful. Depending on what you feel is least useful, you can try Poison Jab or something. Or, yeah, any one of those kinds of attacks. So that's going to be this team. On to team number 8. Let me just double check here if I missed anything. I don't think I did. It's looking good. Looking good. So on to team number 8. Alright, so team number 8 we have here from Champ X Master. We have here Celebi, which is an SD passing set. Very cool. Talonflame, SD set. Mega Aerodactyl. Let me just here quickly make this Mega. Just want to see you in your final form. There we go. Mega Aerodactyl here with a very interesting moveset of Stone Edge, Aerial Ace. Well, I mean, of course those are common, but Iron Head and Dragon Claw you don't see too often. That's pretty cool. Lucario, which is an SD attacking set. Manaphy for Calm Mind, Rain Dance, and Lando T for some Stealth Rocks. Now, I think the first thing that I noticed about this team is that, I mean, you definitely need some like sort of spinner or hazard control or something, because you're running Talonflame, which takes 50 from rocks. Aerodactyl takes 25. I mean, hazards can kind of be a pain, so I think we can definitely put more into that. Maybe give you a spinner or something. Some threats that I see here are Gyarados. I don't really see a way of dealing with Gyarados. I mean, I guess you have a Manaphy, but you have to burn it. You have to burn it for sure. Celebi can't really deal with Gyarados too well, so you're gonna have to try to yeah, I guess defensive Lando T would be your check to that. I don't know. Gardevoir here is another threat to your team because it can put in some work. It can put in some decent work because Psyshock, of course, damages Talonflame. Lucario can't switch into it. Lati, Alakazam can be a threat to your team. Your Draco switch-in is Lucario. But we'll definitely fix that up. We'll definitely make it better for sure. And Kyurem Black, which I mean is a threat to all offensive teams, but I don't really see a great way of dealing with Kyurem other than Aerodactyl. That's it. That's the only way I see. But we'll definitely, of course, patch up a lot of these holes. We'll make it better, for sure. I want to keep Celebi. Because I like the whole theme of SD pass. This is what it's all about, right? SD passing into one of these Pokemon, trying to sweep. And we're gonna keep Talon. Actually, you know what? Yeah, we're gonna keep Talonflame for that matter. We'll keep Talonflame for sure. Same moveset and everything. Same moveset for Celebi. And we'll keep Aerodactyl because that's your Mega. Gonna change the moveset though a little bit. Fire Fang I feel is really useful versus like Ferrothorn and stuff that try to switch in. And I mean, I guess you could run Aqua Tail. I like Ice Fang. Aqua Tail is also really good if you want to hit Diancie and stuff. I mean, Aqua Tail just hits Diancie, hits Lando, hits Heatran. It's just more in general that it can hit, but Ice Fang is pretty cool because it does more to Lando. Hits all those kinds of Pokemon like that. Lati for more damage. But I mean, you have a SD Pass Celebi, so I think this is just a better moveset overall. Now, in order to add a sort of a spinner, I went ahead and replaced Lucario here for Excadrill, and I felt that this would be really cool. Now, let me explain why, right? If you run a Choice Scarf Excadrill with Mold Breaker, and you pass SD into that, let's say if somebody's running a Quagsire Stall team, Mold Breaker, of course, with the SD pass, Earthquakes will be, of course, breaking through that, the Unaware. Which is really good. And plus SD, Choice Scarf Excadrill is just really good in general. A lot of teams don't really, I guess they do have something for it, but, Scarf Drill is just really good in this meta right now. It's really good. So we're just going to run a Scarf Drill here for some rapid spinning. And, we do lose out on that fighting type Pokemon, so I do want to add some kind of Pokemon that can also help with, just spamming fighting type attacks, one after another. And the first Pokemon that came to mind about that was Scarf Mienshao. If you guys remember my Mienshao thing, Mienshao is just so good in this tier. It's incredibly overwhelming, very underrated. And I just decided to run a Choice Scarf set on this as well. Choice Scarf Drill, Choice Scarf Mienshao. Try to Baton Pass into one of these, and you pretty much will just try to win this game right off the bat. And I'm just gonna run here High Jump Kick, Knock Off, Hidden Power Ice. Oops. Hidden Power Ice. And a U-turn. A little bit different from the one that I ran. I ran with Stone Edge, but then I figured that Hidden Power Ice would be really cool. I'm gonna run Naive Nature here. I used to run a plus attack nature, but Naive is good because you have SD Pass. and HP Ice will be able to 2-hit KO Lando easily. Give you this. And there we go. Yeah, so Mienshao here, which is really cool, I feel, for this team. And I think we can, let's see. You still have some threats for sure that we have to deal with. So I think the one thing we can do right now is pretty much replace Lando for Clefable. Oops. Clefable. And the reason I'm running Clefable here is because it helps out a lot versus the other threats you have, like, I mean, it just patches up the team in general. It gives you a good sort of Draco switch in that is not Drill. And it also has Stealth Rocks as well. So we can run Stealth Rocks, we can run Moonblast, Thunder Wave, and Soft Boiled with Magikarp and Leftovers. Yeah, Leftovers. Standard set, standard Clefable. Just run here with max 172 and 84. Now you may be looking at this team and you may wonder, right? You may think it's a little bit weak to Lando, right? But it's not. It's definitely not, because of the fact that you have SD Pass, because you have Mienshao here. Clef can also sort of check Lando. I've never really had a problem with Lando. I faced so many different Lando teams on the ladder with this thing. I can safely say that this team right here, also one of my favorite teams for this Pimp My Squad episode. It's been putting in so much work. I ladder with this team. Like, I think you noted that you got to 1700 with this team. I mean, just by laddering a few games with this team, I was able to get to 1800. So definitely this team is putting in a lot more work than the previous version for sure. I think it'll help you out a lot, and I hope that you also have the same success with this team as I am. And yeah, definitely, like I said, really fun team to use. Really fun team to use because of the amount of offensive pressure your team has. Plus, SD Pass is just so useful. I ended up actually SDing up with like Celebi and killing Ferrothorn and the rest of his team with this. So I don't know, like it's a great team, really fun team. I enjoyed a lot, and I mean, with this team we got rid of a lot of our threats. I'll show you like a replay if you want. Like, just hit me up in the comments if you want to see a replay of how this team works. But I mean, I'll probably end up doing a live with something. Like usually after a Pimp My Squad, I always end up trying to do a live with one or two of these teams that I really like in general. So, you know, I'll see what I can do. But definitely this team is great. I like it a lot, and hopefully you all will as well. So that's what I got for this team. Let me just double check here. I don't think there's anything else that I need to edit. I think we're good. So we got 2 more teams left. Thank you guys for sticking around. On to team number 9. Alright, we got team number 9 now from Radiant Red Moon. We have here a team built around Mega Absol. Reason I picked this team was because you don't see a lot of Mega Absol teams nowadays, and I mean, it's a great Pokemon if you know how to use it. Definitely a fun thing to use in the OU tier. We have here a team built around Mega Absol. We got Mega Absol here, 4 attacks. We have here Clefable with a Rocky Helmet there. I appreciate you trying to impress me with this Rocky Helmet stuff. I really do appreciate it. Rocky Helmet, Clefable. Alright, so we also have here a Thundurus, which is interesting since it has Grass Knot plus Sludge Wave. I guess you're worried about Fairy-type Pokemon, so you're just concerned about your Absol. I can appreciate that. Family comes first. Conkeldurr, which is cool since it is an Assault Vest set, pretty standard. Tentacruel for your Spinner, and a Chansey for some Stealth Rocks. Okay, so cool team, I guess. We definitely have a lot of threats, I can see. One being Koopa Unbound, which is a pretty big threat. You don't really have anything to check that even. I guess other than Absol. Charizard X is a really big threat since your team doesn't really have much for Charizard other than trying to paralyze it with Thundurus, but they can always switch out easily. Lucario is kind of a threat. You don't see it too often, like I said, but I mean, it's still out there. Metagross, Mega Metagross is a huge threat for this team because of the fact that I guess the only Pokemon you have to deal with Metagross is Absol Sucker Punch, I guess. You don't really have a switch in to it, or a check. I mean, Thundurus can paralyze it always, but it's a little tricky. Swampert can be a threat. Mega Swampert on rain teams can be a threat since I don't really see a lot for that. Breloom is a threat since, yeah, Breloom's a huge threat to this team. Breloom is a really big threat. I guess you have Thundurus, but you have to Spore Fod or something, and it's kind of annoying. And Excadrill can be a threat as well, since your only Pokemon that can deal with Drill is Conkeldurr. So, I mean, we have some threats. We'll definitely make this team a lot better and make sure that you have a really solid Mega Absol team for you. So we have here, we're just gonna keep here Mega Absol, right? We're gonna keep Mega Absol. I want to run a Swords Dance set for this, and the reason I want to run Swords Dance is because, well, not Super Luck with Justified, because you get a boost with Justified by Pursuit or Crunch, and just get a +1 attack right off the bat. No need for Super Luck because you're gonna Mega anyways. SD, Sucker Punch, Knockoff, Play Rough is what we're gonna keep here with a Jolly Nature, and just give you I guess Force Spit F is fine, doesn't matter. But we have here an SD Mega Absol. The reason I want to run SD is because a lot of Pokemon that you bring this in on might potentially switch out, giving you an opportunity to set up an SD and try to like sweep with Sucker Punch, Knockoff, Play Rough, which is also of course good for fighting type Pokemon, T-Tars and stuff like that. So a good job on that. We're gonna keep Mega Absol 100%. Now, in order to deal with I guess in order to deal with stuff like Lottie, you do have a Clef, you do have a Chansey, and a Clef as well. I kind of just want to run a Metagross though. Assault Vest Metagross just works really well with Absol because it can Pursue Trap things Absol doesn't really like. For instance, well, it's just good versus other Clefable, because Absol hates Fairy types, right? Metagross, look at your team. Basically, Gardevoir can be a really big threat to your team as well. Mega Gardevoir, if you had Clef here, right? If you had Clef, Mega Gardevoir is a huge threat because it just hyper voices everything. Can set up Combine, Psyshock, Chansey, and stuff like that. So always a threat in that sense. So having a Metagross here, an Assault Vest Metagross can help you with pretty much every Fairy type in the book. So we're gonna have that here with Assault Vest. Clear Body is of course standard. Meteor Mash, Bullet Punch, Earthquake, and Pursuit is really good for this team with a bulky set of max HP, 160 attack, 96 BDF, so it's pretty offensive as well. Pretty offensive with Adamant Nature. There we go. So this thing can just switch it on Hyper Voice easily, Pursuit Trap stuff, like Gardevoir for instance. Meteor Mash, Bullet Punch has good priority versus Diancie as well. Diancie's a pretty big threat, kind of. I mean, you have a Chansey, but that was kind of all you had for it, I guess. So yeah, we have a Metagross now, so we're not really, we're a little bit less weak to Fairy types, which is great. So I'm gonna add a better Stealth Rocker than Chansey now. I'm just gonna go ahead here and add a Garchomp. So we can just add a Garchomp here for Rocky Helmet. Instead of the Endure set, I think I'm just gonna run for this one. I'm just gonna run Earthquake, Dragon Tail, Fire Blast to hit Ferrothorn. Dragon Tail, Fire Blast. Not Dire Blast, Fire Blast. And Stealth Rocks. I feel that'd be really good for this team. We can just run same spread that I had before. 136 and 180 with Impish. There we go. Now, let's see what else we got here. So, like I said, we are a little bit weak to... I mean, I guess Thundurus is cool. I want to actually swap out Conkeldurr here and give you a Breloom. Can help you out versus like those water type Pokemon that I said were a threat. So Breloom here would be pretty cool. We can run this with... We can run a pretty interesting set instead of the common Life Orb Spore set. We can just run... I think we can run Toxic Orb here with Poison Heal. Nope, Poison Heal. Poison Heal, there we go. Poison Heal with Seed Bomb, Superpower, Facade, and SD. And we can just run pretty much just 12 HP for a Toxic Orb number, 244 and 252 with a Jolly Nature. So this will be pretty interesting to see how it works out. I mean, I definitely tried it out and it works, so you'll definitely, hopefully have a lot of fun with this. And, I mean, we're a little bit weak to Rotom Wash now, so I just want to add something for that. Breloom can definitely deal with it with the Toxic Orb. And I just want to add here a Defogger for this team. Instead of a Spinner, we'll just add Lottie here. Lottie's a great Defogger for this team. We can just run a Life Orb set with Draco. Psyshock. Healing Wish, which is great in order to heal up maybe Absol, Metagross, Garchomp, or something like that, and healing. Oh, Defog. Got the Defog on deck. Alright, so it's pretty standard spread. I mean, nothing really that you probably haven't seen before. And Timid Nature. Alright, so our last Pokemon, I mean, we have a Defogger, which is nice, very reliable for this team. We have a really good Draco switch in, and it Pursue traps pretty much Lottie and everything like that, so that's great. Mega Absol, which is an SD, very threatening Pokemon. Garchomp here, so that we can hit stuff like Ferrothorn with Fire Blast. Breloom that can do some really good damage versus a lot of those kinds of Pokemon as well. And Lottie for defogging. I figured our last Pokemon here could be a little bit less weak to Talonflame. I mean, you had Thundurus before for Talonflame, I believe. So I figured we'd just add another Pokemon here to deal with Talonflame. We have a Rocky Helmet Garchomp, but that gets Wisped pretty easily. I want to add a Pokemon that can help you deal with Talonflame, and I decided to make it Heat. We're going to keep the same Water type coverage, going to keep the same synergy here. Going to add you Amistar. Alright, now why am I adding Amistar? I'll tell you. We're going to have Shell Smash here. We're going to have Scald, Ice Beam, and I like Hidden Power Electric to deal with Gyarados after Shell Smash. I guess also Suicune, Manaphy, and stuff like that. Just a good coverage move in general. So Amistar here, look at that nice defense here. So you can eat up some Brave Birds. It can put in work. Doesn't mind getting burned because it is a special attacker. Just a good check to Talonflame. So that's why I'm running this set here. Gonna run it with Modest Nature. Give it 4 defense, I guess. And yeah, this Pokemon can get a lot of sweeps in the end, I guess, since it is really good with Shell Smash, and I mean, it just hits really hard. It hits like a truck. It was actually, I actually faced a team while testing this this final squad here. I faced Sableye Shedinja Stall, and I actually ended up sweeping in the end with the Amistar after I got rid of Shedinja, it was amazing. Really good Pokemon for sure. So definitely Amistar here, which makes this team really unique. I like this team a lot, actually. I'm liking the feel of this team. Probably another one of my favorite ones. It looks really good on paper, plays really smoothly. So hopefully you'll enjoy this team a lot better. Definitely a successful Mega Absol team that I've made, or that I've helped you make. And yeah, you can try this out and see how it works out. It's yours now, so hope you enjoy it. And anyways, we are on to the last team. I don't think I missed anything. If I did, of course, let me know once again. And yeah, let's just go ahead, hop on to team number 10, the final squad. Let's do it. Alright, so team number 10. We have here a team from Marshchan. We got here Lucario, SD Lucario, very cool Pokemon that I believe he did want me to keep on the team, which I will definitely do that. We have here Heatran for Stealth Rocks, very cool. Interesting EV spread though for Stealth Rocks Heatran. Milotic, which is of course you don't see too often in this tier, very interesting. Lando T, which is his Scarf user. Mega Lottie, which is the defogger. Like the thing so I don't really recommend using Mega Lottie for a defogger set. Life Orb Lottie just hits much harder than Mega Lottie, so I feel like it's more of it's more a waste of a Mega than anything. So we'll definitely change that, I guess, into a different set. I mean, like Lottie with Life Orb hits harder than Lottie with its Mega Stone, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. It actually does, so I think we'll just change up the Mega a little bit. Maybe the rolls and stuff like that. And finally a Dragonite with a Weakness Policy, Dragon Dance, and Waterfall. Interesting. Okay, so some threats that I see to this team. Not too many threats, but I mean there are some big holes to Azu. Azu can be a threat since, well, I mean Milotic can deal with it, I guess, but Bandit Azu can definitely put in work. Bandit Azu, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I don't know if it 2KOs Milotic, but I don't know. It might. You'll have to like Scald Burn it or something. Gliscor, SD Gliscor can be a threat because your only way of beating it is I guess waterfalling it, or I mean, cause Scald's not gonna do much to Spidef Gliscor anyways, because you're defensive. So I guess we could try to play around that. And then Life Orb Starmie is another pretty big threat to this team. Starmie can definitely put in some work. I think what I want to do here is actually just change up the roles a little bit of this team. So I just want to make this just a Latias. Yeah, I know you're Latios, but I think Latias is just nice here. And we could run this thing with a standard set. Actually, no, I don't think we need Lati. I don't think we need Lati. I think what we could do is we could change Lando to Donphan. Donphan will actually be pretty useful because it can set up rocks and it can spin. You don't see it too often in OU, but this team will end up working really well. with Donphan. So we're going to run Earthquake, Knockoff, Rapid Spin, and Stealth Rocks. And we're just going to run this thing with... Let's just run a max defense spread here. Defensive spread. So we got Rocks, we got Spin. We don't even need to worry about anything of that sort anymore because we got rid of that issue. And instead of Lottie, we could literally just run a Mega Manectric. And of course, Manectric here can help you deal with Azu, Starmie, and it can check Gliscor pretty nicely with HP Ice if it's already weakened. So we could run this thing with Lightning Rod, of course, as pre-Mega ability. And Volt Switch. Where are you? There we are. Okay. Hello? Volt Switch, Thunderbolt, Flamethrower, and Hidden Power Ice are just great. I mean, those are like the standard set pretty much. Just run this with max special attack, max speed for defense with Timid Nature. So we got that going on there. We can actually just run a, let's see. So we have a Stealth Rocker pretty much and a ground type Pokemon to replace Lando. So we can pretty much replace this thing for a Clef. I like Clef here. Clef is nice. Combine Clefable is really good for this team. With the Magikarp. Magikarp, Moonblast, Calm Mind. I think we can run this with Thunder Wave. I mean, you can run it with Flamethrower if you want to have another way of hitting Bisharp or Bisharp plus Scizor and stuff like that. But I think Thunder Wave is fine, and you'll soon see why I'm running Thunder Wave here. I'm basically trying to help you craft this team in a way where Lucario can set up easier and put in the most work. That's how I'm trying to help you craft this team because I want Lucario to shine. So how we're going to do that, I'll show you. As you can see, we have your Donphan, Stealth Rock, Spin, Mega Main, Clef, which can T-Wave stuff, help Lucario set up with the paralysis there, allowing Lucario to hit faster. We're also going to make this a Jolly Nature, an Adamant Nature, because we want to hit harder. Stuff will be slower, so that's going to be great for Lucario. And we'll just make this 4 defense. I don't think it matters, but I'll just make it that. So we have this right now. We have Clef. We have Donphan, Manectric. I want to change my Melodic. I want to change it to Gyarados. And the reason I want to change it to Gyarados is because of the fact that it just puts in more work versus... it helps you deal better with Keldeo. And the reason is because I'm going to be running a more defensive set. A regular Gyarados, of course, because we have a Mega already. So we're going to be running with Waterfall, Thunder Wave. You could go with like Dragon Tail or something, or Roar, and then Rest maybe, or something like that. If you want, I'm just gonna fill in Rest and Sleep Talk. I feel it's just nice in general. Gives you a Pokemon that you can sleep fodder. Also lets you recover and attack, or just cripple stuff and attack stuff while you're asleep. So I figured in that way it would be nice. And we're just gonna run it with 104 defense and 156 def. Good Keldeo check as long as they don't have HP Electric. And it's solid in general. It can check both Charizard X and Charizard Y. Because of its decent defenses, it can T-Wave both of those. Cripple them. Donphan's really good here. Manectric can give you momentum, help you versus Scizors and stuff that could be threatening to your team. Oh, I forgot to fill in Clefable's EVs. My bad. Let's just fill that out right now. 172, 84, Calm. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so we fill that out. That's great. We're just going to now add one more Pokemon for this team. Like I said, or I don't know if I said already yet, but we need a Hyper Voice switch in. A good Pokemon to deal with Fairy types in the tier. And I figured, why not just have a Jirachi? As you can probably tell from the team, we see T-Wave, we see Electric type, Yellow Magic, and just Spadef Wish Rachi will be great because we have a physically defensive Donphan, sort of a mixed wall Gyarados, and a Jirachi which will be more Spadef oriented. So it's a pretty balanced, bulky offense team, I guess. Yeah, I guess you could say it's bulky offense or balanced. We're just going to go ahead here and add Iron Head, Body Slam, not Bully Slam, Wish, and Protect. And yeah, max HP 224 Spadef, 32 speed should be fine, unless we want to just run there. Okay, we can just run one more. Careful Nature, very cool. And that is the team. So this is looking pretty nice. I mean, I did, like, for some of the teams, I did change a lot of stuff, but like I'm saying, the series is about pipping squads. I'm trying to make them fresh. I'm trying to make them new. Make them all that you, I guess, in a way that you'll kind of appreciate, and giving my perspective on the team of how I see it. So in this way, we can make Lucario stand out a lot more, because we'll be paralyzing stuff. Lucario will be, it will be one of the main sweepers for this team. It will be putting in a lot of work alongside Manectric. So I'm expecting this team to work in such a way where Lucario plus Manectric are your win conditions, whereas Jirachi's healing up the team, Donphan spinning, setting up rocks, getting rid of stuff, Gyarados, of course, crippling alongside Clef. Clef will also probably be another win condition for you because you have Calm Mind. So, I mean, it centralizes around 3 Pokemon, but Lucario will probably have more action in this team. So, that's going to be the team. I don't think I missed anything. If I did, let me know. But it looks great. It's looking good. It's looking pretty nice. So, that is team number 10. That is team number 10. Let me just go ahead here. Completed. And final product. Just position it perfectly. There we go. All right, so that is it. That is going to be it for this episode. Hope you all enjoyed. I definitely really appreciate the support that I'm getting for this series from you guys. Really do appreciate it. Let me know what you guys think about the teams. Feel free to try them out in the comments. Or in the description, I will have all of the pastebins listed there. Everything should be fixed if I missed anything. If not, just let me know. I'm definitely, leave me your suggestion or leave me your submissions of teams in a pastebin format. And, I really, like I said, I really appreciate the support. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. If you stuck around till the end, great job. Definitely. My favorite teams, I guess, are definitely going to be, my favorite teams are definitely team number 1. Definitely team number 1 is one of my favorite teams. Team number, let's see. Team number 8 is a really good one I like a lot. Team number 9, I like it a lot. I mean, I like all these teams. All these teams were working really well for me. I have a couple favorites that I'll probably use for a live. I mean, if you have any suggestions of what you want me to use for a live from these 10 teams, let me know. But feel free to try them out. Have fun, and I will see you guys on the next video. Peace, guys.